All right, let's talk really quickly about food. The food here is, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. It's original. It's not Mexico, you know? You're not eating a bunch of tacos and burritos. Even though there are things that are called tacos that are available, they look much different than what we in the United States associate with the word taco. They look different. But anyway, there are these. You'll find out, and you have probably found out already. The cuisine here, it's pretty simple, but it's good. It's the quality of the food is pretty good. And so, one thing to mention, there is this thing called natilla. Natilla. Natilla is how it's pronounced. It When I first saw it, I thought it was yogurt. I just honest, it looks like yogurt to me, like white yogurt, and it translates to sour cream. Even though sour cream is a little bit different, it's not. It's the closest thing you can get to sour cream. It kind of has that sour cream flavor. It's a little bit more liquidy than sour cream. The texture is a little bit softer, but they use it. Ticos here use it to put it on their gallo pinto in the morning, or sometimes they just call it pinto for short, and it's good. Most of the time, it's good, depending on where you are and where they get it from. But they mix it into their gallo pinto. I mean, they'll have gallo pinto, natilla, and they'll mix it in before they eat it, or they'll just maybe have it on the side. I don't like to mix it all in, just because I don't want to eat it all in natilla. But maybe you can people take their plantains and maybe dip it in natilla and eat it, or take the forkful of pinto and then scoop a little bit of natilla on it and then eat it. Some people just take outright bread and just take a scoop of natilla and eat it like it's butter or something, I guess you could say. So anyway, just a heads up as to what that is. There are these things called sodas. It sounds exactly like the word we use for soft drink, many of us in the United States, soda. They are small, usually family owned, family run businesses. Sometimes they look like little kitchens, like a kitchen out of someone's home, and that's usually what they look like, because they're usually pretty small. And they serve food. They serve breakfast. They serve lunch. They serve dinner. Well, most of them aren't. Many of them aren't open for dinner. Sometimes they are, depending on which one. But they serve two, maybe sometimes three meals a day, and they're cheap. They're filling, and the quality of food is pretty good. FYI, there's a soda in Walmart. So if you ever go by a Walmart, and I know there's not one in Turrialba, the closest one is in Cartago, which is about 45 minutes or so away from Turrialba, 30, 45 minutes. And there are sodas in Walmart, which is great because you can get a good quality meal, a decent meal for a really good price at Walmart. So keep that in mind if you're ever going to a Walmart. You can get a meal there. And at sodas, they look like buffets. I mean, they just look like what in the United States we would call a buffet, all you can eat possibly. But it's not. Well, if you want to pay for extra, you can get anything you want, but usually included in the basic price, which can be in the San Jose area, it's usually 2,500 colones. But maybe outside where you are, I went to a soda the other day in Turrialba that was 3,500 colones. So they can range between 2,500 colones and 3,500 colones. But usually you get your choice of a meat, a rice, then there's beans. Those just usually come standard on the plate, unless you want something else, and you can tell them what you want. But then you get some type of salad, like what they call here a lot of times a green salad, which is lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, maybe some carrots in it, just a tiny salad. And you can also get, if you don't want that kind of salad, usually some kind of like macaroni salad or pasta salad is another choice. And then there is another, you can get another option of like cooked vegetables or something they call chayote. It's like almost like, looks like little potatoes cut up and a little bit of a sauce. So it's good eating. It's really good, and it's one of the reasons why I like it here so much is the decent quality of food for a very very reasonable price. And usually what we would call a cafeteria, they call sodas. So in the schools, kids eat at sodas. They don't eat they don't eat in the cafeteria for lunch. They call them a soda, which is the same idea. It's the same idea as a cafeteria. Yeah, there you go. Food, eat it.
A quick note on drinks. You'll probably maybe at some point see or hear for drinks. A lot of ticos I've heard use the word generally fresco for drink or beverage. And then to get more specific, fresco natural or natural is like your fresh fruit drink, your fresh fruit beverage that you'll most likely see see is available to you in the morning, in the earlier part of the day. And there's also what is called, there's these delicious things called batidos. They're basically shakes. Okay, so you have batidos en leche, which means milk shake. And then there's batidos or batido en agua. Okay, a shake that is based with water, with a water base.
All right, let's talk about houses and living spaces here. Okay. Um, I'm not sure about out in Turrialba because I just wasn't around or I wasn't noticing what might have been considered homes. There, people might not live in like the downtown area as much as people in the where I live in the Gran Area Metropolitano, which is the great metropolitan area, is what that translates to here in San Jose. But there are there you might see bars on a lot of the doors and windows. It's common here, especially in the more urban areas. It's just a safety thing. It's just normal. I mean, it's as normal as us in the United States and a lot of places not having bars on our doors and windows. It's just a natural thing, and you get used to it. Actually, I've been here so long that if I see a place where there aren't bars on doors or windows, it'll catch my attention. I'll be like, oh, that's weird that there are not bars on for security. So, it's just something to give you a heads up on. Also, buildings here are not airtight for the most part, and you at least not compared to the way that our buildings in the United States are, our houses and buildings. You might have discovered that by now with having had your first evening here in Costa Rica. So windows, doors, you're gonna feel probably some wind pushing through those. And maybe especially at night is when you might notice it most, but you'll get used to it. It's just the way things are. Also, the walls here are incredibly thin. I mean, I have the places I've lived, I've had a wall between us. There are walls. They call them walls, but they are paper thin. You hear conversations. You hear the little girl getting her butt whooped because she did something. There was a girl named Sophia that got in a lot of trouble in the last place that I lived. My neighbors are probably listening to me right now and saying, wow, there's that guy talking again for hours. Well, that's just the way it is. Televisions, music, I mean, it's just anything you can imagine. You're usually hearing through your neighbor's wall. So, just a quick heads up on that. And something you may have noticed also is that there are very few places have screens on their windows. So, it's just the way it is. And you kind of get used to it, I guess. But that's why it's good to have Skin So Soft for when they do come in, the bugs do come in, and your fan. That also kind of keeps the bugs off of you. Not if, but when they fly into your place. And also, this is a little tip, not to scare you, but please, wherever you are, try to think of an escape route. This place is notoriously bad for making sure there are sprinkler systems in their buildings, and they're also bad about making sure that there is a fire escape route or an emergency escape route. They criticize themselves for it. There are, you know, there are there are fires that have been reported. I watch a lot of news, maybe too much. Okay, but it's just a reality. Where I live, there is no fire escape. I know I'm jumping over the kind of walkway terrace that gets to the steps. If there's something bad going on between where my place is and the stairway, the one stairwell that I have to get out of this place, I gotta jump over the little terrace here. I'm just being honest. I want you guys to be safe, and so please keep that in mind.